What's going on, review family? I am your review master, and today we're gonna go over the perfect gun. There's a lot we have to touch on to get to that perfect gun. So we'll get there and we're gonna figure out exactly what we need to get what we need, all right? Okay, review family, obviously you see we have quite a spread here, but let's focus on a couple things. Remember, we're trying to get to find the perfect gun. So we're gonna focus on ammo capacity, types of guns, penetration, ammo, and reliability and accuracy. And that kind of all ties together. And let's get the party started. Okay, review family, ammo capacity, big deal. Doesn't matter what kind of gun you have, if you have no ammo in it, it is useless. So let's talk about the kind of options we have here. Single stack, so these are going to be in most concealed weapons that you're going to have for self-defense, is what you're going to carry on you. They're single stack for a reason. That's because they're thin. They're very, very thin, and then the clip is going to be thin. So what does that mean? You're not going to be able to fit much in it, okay? So we're talking about 8+1. Some of the newer polymers now have a combination of the dual and the single stack, which is cool, but still a pretty small gun. But this is where you want to be for the modern handgun, okay? You want something that's going to be at least 15+1. My actual Smith & Wesson, which is, I am not what you call biased when it comes to anything. I love all products as long as they work. So this Smith & Wesson has 16+1. And then keep in mind, when you start getting in bigger calibers, it's a bigger gun. It's a bigger gun normally, but that being said, it's a big old round. So at that point, you're not gonna be able to fit much. So it's very, very important that you stick to that and you think about that. So for ammo capacity, number one deal has to have at least 15+1. Types of guns. This is going to be the funnest topic. I mean, this is going to be pretty controversial. Everyone has their opinions, but I'm going to start doing the process of elimination, okay? We're going to start eliminating, let's go for the hunter style type of rifle. You're going to find these in a lot of American homes. People love to hunt. This is bolt action. This is only in 22 LR, but this is just going to give you an example. Not enough ammo capacity here. What the clip carries in this is 5 rounds. That's not enough to meet our criteria for the perfect gun, so we have to eliminate it. Fun gun to shoot, awesome, but it's not going to be the perfect gun. We're going to eliminate bolt rifle guns and hunting guns, okay? The next thing we're going to eliminate, and this is going to be the controversy piece here. As you can tell, you can shorten it down and you can do some really fun stuff here. And yeah, you got a lot of ammo capacity. Yes, 30 rounds, awesome stuff. But at the same time, we're talking about a pretty hefty gun. I mean, this gun probably weighs in at, actually I have no idea off the top of my head, but that being said, it's something that you're not going to be able to move around pretty quickly if there's something happening inside your home. If this is going to be your home defense weapon, it's a little bulky, and on top of that, if you're too close, they can actually grab your barrel and then from there actually move that to the side. But for the perfect gun, it has to meet a lot of criteria, and then from there, concealed weapon. I mean, you can't conceal this. I mean, unless you're running with like a Matrix trench coat type of jacket. I mean,
holy shit.
and that's not going to work for you. So that being said, rifles, we got to eliminate them as well. So moving on, let's talk about the actual most common gun that you're going to find everywhere, and this is going to be this is a Smith & Wesson Shield. It's a nice little gun. Now this is what you can carry for concealment. Unfortunately, it doesn't have enough rounds. We're talking about 8+1, and on top of that, we'll get into that when the caliber piece. This is not an easy gun to actually shoot, believe it or not. There's not a lot to hold on to, and I don't have the biggest hands, so we have to eliminate it. I would maybe consider a concealed weapons license, a concealed weapon gun if it had the dual stack. So that's a maybe, okay? But even so, I know about accuracy and I know about shooting these guns, and these guns are a little bit harder to shoot. So unfortunately, the concealed weapon guns, it's not gonna work either. So we're gonna move that over to the side. And then this is when we start getting what you call a little bit confusing, right? So this is 45 ACP, and we'll talk about caliber in a second. But that being said, this is It's a good gun. It's a phenomenal gun. You do have a decent amount of capacity, 8+1 normally, but these guns are just not reliable. This is a 1911 style, and the newer ones are reliable, but they're a pain in the ass to break down. It's just not enough. It's not enough that you can actually do with this gun on a regular basis, and it does the 45 ACP, which is cool. But I would say that for a 1911 style, yeah, I don't know. It does have night sights, which is kind of cool. But that's just me loving the gun. But moving on to the side, it is a pretty gun, but it's not something we can use all the time. So for types of guns, we have to go with a modern polymer style gun. It has the capacity. It is lightweight. In addition to that, this is very, very easy to strip down and break down, which is awesome. But in addition to that, something you want to really look at, what people don't realize, normally these new guns have that pickaninny rail that you could attach some accessories. Now you're like, well, accessories? What in the world is that? You really want to focus on being able to add a flashlight, especially if you want to have this for home defense. It is thin enough still to conceal carry as well. You know, I'm not the biggest guy on the planet, and this I've been able to fit this in some shorts and some tighter shirts. So this is, I think, the type of gun you're going to need, and it could be a Smith & Wesson. It could go ahead and be a Glock, F&N. There's a million, 6 Sauer. There's a million types. But we'll talk about that. For types of guns, this is where I am at. This is the type of gun that I will choose every single time if I can only pick one. Now, let's move on. Okay guys, penetration. Penetration is a massive deal, okay? We're gonna talk about why it's a massive deal. Number one is, we live in modern homes, okay? So unless you know you're in a bunker, you know, from the 50s, yeah, there's not gonna be a ton of protection. So what does that mean for you when you're using your perfect gun? If you ever have to use it, God forbid, that means that every modern gun slices through drywall like butter. So that being said, you wanna make sure that you understand what you need to be able to make sure you have in your perfect gun the right type of situation. So we talked about rifles. Why we're not going to use a rifle, man, these are just very, very fast rounds. These things are spitting them at speeds that are just ungodly. And I'll tell you right now, yes, you could get what you call a hollow point for these as well. But these things are gonna slice through your house and probably your neighbor's house. And God forbid you're in an apartment and you have to use one of these things. I mean, you're gonna probably go through 3 to 4 apartments before this thing stops, and that's concrete is involved. If there's no concrete involved, I don't know when this thing is gonna stop. So we have to eliminate again the rifle, okay? And that's for the actual penetration too. Then from there we also have your 45 ACP. It's a slug, it's a bigger bullet. Compare these two things. I mean, there is quite a difference in size there, okay? But it's very, very important that, you know, we don't have the capacity that we need in this, so this is not going to really work for us, okay? So we have to move on from that. And that's really when I wanted to kind of focus that, you know, the 9mm is going to be the optimal round at that point. When it comes to pricing, you're going to be able to find a ton of pricing, good deals on bulkammo.com, etc., etc. You're going to be able to find 9mm everywhere. It's like the 22 LR, it's everywhere and it's pretty cheap. But more importantly, what you have to focus on in your perfect gun, you have to buy yourself some self-critical defense rounds, okay? And what those are, these are hollow points, all right? So what that means is it's gonna expand, all right? And I'm actually gonna show you, I'll throw a video up so you can see what that looks like, all right? As you can tell, there's a lot of difference there. You see that power come on out of that 45 ACP, and that's what people talk about, the stopping power. But I'll tell you right now, stopping power is useless if you don't have any bullets. So let's move on from that, but make sure you get yourself a critical defense round. This is what you need to have inside your home, whether you're carrying concealment, anything you got going on, okay? So this is where you want to be when it comes to ammo and penetration. Okay, y'all, so before we go any forward, you have to go and practice with whatever perfect gun you have. It doesn't matter if you have one of these guns or a type of gun, whether you have a shotgun or not. I didn't talk about the shotgun, it just didn't come close enough to anywhere near being the perfect gun. It's cool, you can shoot it, I mean, you have different types of rounds, which is awesome, but it's just not gonna work. But make sure you practice good etiquette, and I'll show you what bad etiquette looks like.
Right there. Right there. All right. Say, look at right here. I said, do we have a talent?
So obviously we can't be doing that, which is kind of cool scene. But that being said, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump right into the last piece, and that's gonna be accuracy, reliability, and to be honest with you, you know, all these guns are way more accurate than you are. The limitations are normally not by the gun, it's normally by the actual shooter. So you gotta go out there and actually go plinking, and this is what a type of round you'll go plinking in. It's called the Full Metal Jacket, FMJ, if you guys didn't know that. And the rounds are cheaper, of course, than those critical defense ones. But, you know, I go practicing with all of my guns, because in the event that, you know, I only had this left in my arsenal and things got really, really kind of what people like to say, the shit hits the fan, which if you think about that literally, it's kind of crazy. But that being said, yeah, you got to practice with it and you got to get good with it. But reliability, this is a big deal to me, you know. So I have the Glocks. You know, I'm not showing you that just because you're going to find Glocks everywhere. And honestly, I think the Glocks are a little bit ugly. They're square, and I'm not a big fan of their sights, okay? That's just me personally. Again, we go back to the actual gun that I would have to choose. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Smith & Wesson M&P Pro. And again, it doesn't matter at this point what the brand is. All these guns, all these modern guns are extremely reliable. And just be prepared to set aside what you call at least $600 to buy a good gun. Don't go out there and try to find a special for 200 bucks. And you know, the 1911 series, if you guys like these are really pretty guns. Again, they're not ideal for just your only gun, but you know, I know some people that carry this as their, you know, their concealed weapon, which is crazy. And it does have what you call a thin enough barrel to be able to do that. But for me, it's a little heavy. That's not gonna work. So yeah, breaking it all down, guys, the perfect gun. This is gonna have to be your perfect gun. I'm telling you, you have enough capacity, it's light, you can conceal it, you can use it for home defense, you can attach accessories to it, it is reliable, and it's pretty cost effective. These bad boys now, they go on sale from $399 to $600, you know. The cool thing now too, the newer ones, believe it or not, this is probably about a year or two old, the newer ones come optics ready, which is really, really cool. So you go ahead and literally pop yourself a little sight on there and you're ready to rock and roll. But for me, this would be the perfect gun, and this is not necessarily the brand itself, it's the style. If you have to pick one, the perfect gun is always going to be this. Alright guys, till next time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll see you till the next time. Oh, I just dropped my gun. Hell to the no!